Hello, beautiful Libra. Something you've been sensing beneath the surface is beginning to come into focus. A shift connected to your finances and personal value is moving closer, and a situation that has never felt completely clear may soon reveal its deeper truth. This video is more than a passing message. You found your way here for a reason, because something the universe has been quietly nudging you to notice is ready to step into the light. June 25th and 26th are not ordinary days. They feel like a turning point in the middle of your journey, a bridge between what you've been questioning and what you're finally ready to understand. What comes into view during this time has the potential to change how you see your finances, your relationships, and the power you've been holding inside yourself all along. Let me ask you something honestly, Libra. Have you noticed a subtle discomfort around someone lately, even when everything appears fine on the surface? Have you felt a silence that seems to carry more meaning than words, or a quiet sense that not everything is being shared with you? If that sounds familiar, then this message is not only relevant, it is personal, timely, and deserving of your attention. This space is about looking beneath appearances and recognizing what your intuition has been trying to tell you. It is where timing, symbolism, and reflection come together to uncover truths that often hide behind polite conversations and familiar patterns. I believe that God does not always speak through dramatic moments. Sometimes the message arrives through a restless heart that can no longer ignore what it feels. And when that awareness arrives, it is not meant to harm you. It is meant to prepare you. What is approaching for you, Libra, is not only clarity but opportunity. While a realization may bring some discomfort, it also creates room for something healthier to grow, opening space for abundance in your finances, your peace of mind, your boundaries, and your sense of self-worth. You were never meant to shrink yourself so that others could remain comfortable. You were meant to grow into a fuller version of who you are. Take a moment and ask yourself whether there is someone who only appears when they need something, or someone whose words quietly diminish your excitement when good things begin happening for you. A connection that consistently leaves you questioning your own light may be revealing its true balance, and around June 25 and 26, that truth may become much harder to overlook. If you're still here, Libra, chances are you've already felt pieces of this. Maybe you've noticed signs, recurring thoughts, meaningful coincidences, or dreams that stayed with you longer than usual. Let this video serve as confirmation. Take a deep breath, center yourself in the present moment, and type 6262 in the comments to anchor your intention. Let it be a simple declaration that you choose truth over illusion and that you are ready to receive what is meant for you. And before we continue, I want to thank you sincerely for being here. Every like, comment, share, and subscription strengthens the connection within this community and helps these messages reach the people who need them most. Your presence matters more than you realize, and your support helps keep this space growing in meaningful ways. If these messages continue to bring you clarity and comfort, you can support the channel through the link in the description or the QR code on screen. Every act of support helps us continue sharing these messages with those who are seeking guidance and perspective. To everyone who has already contributed, thank you from the heart. Your kindness helps this space reach farther than you know. And trust me, Libra, you'll want to stay with this message because what is beginning to unfold carries more significance than it may appear at first glance. So tell me honestly, what drew you here today? What part of you recognized something familiar in these words? Because once we begin exploring that answer together, everything starts to look a little different. There is something deeply meaningful about the timing of certain cosmic alignments, especially when Venus and Pluto challenge one another the way they do now. For you, Libra, June 25 and 26 feel less like ordinary dates and more like a turning point along the road you've been traveling. Venus governs love, finances, and personal values, while Pluto brings hidden truths, transformation, and deeper awareness into view. When these energies meet, the purpose is not to punish anyone. The purpose is to awaken. This is not gentle drifting energy. It is the kind that draws attention to what has been quietly operating beneath the surface, including situations that may have appeared stable while slowly creating imbalance underneath. The important thing to remember is that truth, arrives to free you, not to break you. If you felt uneasy around someone recently, if your body seems to tense when they speak, or if a lingering feeling tells you something is missing from the picture, give that feeling the respect it deserves. Your intuition is not working against you, it is trying to guide you. The appearance of the Seven of Swords points toward information that has not yet been fully revealed. It may involve finances, intentions, or the level of commitment someone is truly bringing to a situation. Even if you've dismissed your concerns or convinced yourself that you are reading too much into things, your inner awareness has been collecting signals all along. This card carries both insight and caution. The universe often begins with subtle nudges, but eventually, clarity asks to be acknowledged. As Pluto's influence grows stronger, what has remained hidden becomes increasingly difficult to maintain, and a realization emerges that changes how you understand a person, a situation, or even your own path forward. That realization may arrive through an unexpected conversation, surprising information or behavior that suddenly makes more sense than it did before. In the moment, it can feel unsettling because it challenges assumptions you once trusted. Yet what appears to be a disruption is often preparation for something healthier and more aligned. Sometimes we continue investing in situations because of history, loyalty, or hope, believing those things alone can sustain them. But when the foundation no longer reflects truth, adjustment becomes necessary. Once the illusion is cleared away, the Ace of Pentacles appears as a symbol of renewal, bringing the possibility of a fresh financial beginning or an opportunity that could not fully arrive until space was created for it. The blessing is genuine. It has simply been waiting for the right conditions to grow. Abundance, whether financial, emotional, or energetic, flourishes most naturally when it is rooted in honesty and stability rather than uncertainty. That is why this period becomes a gift rather than a loss. It reveals where your energy has been flowing into situations that can no longer support your growth. Awareness allows you to stop investing in what feels unstable and begin strengthening what truly aligns with your future. And I want to remind you of something important, Libra. When something changes or falls away, it does not automatically mean you failed. Very often it means you've reached a point where your old circumstances can no longer contain who you are becoming. Life continually invites us to build again with greater wisdom than before. This time, the structure is supported by stronger boundaries, deeper self-respect, and a clearer understanding of your own value. You are not here to avoid truth in order to keep everyone comfortable. You are here to live in alignment with it. As that alignment grows stronger, your outer world begins responding. New possibilities become visible, opportunities feel more natural, and connections that truly resonate with your direction begin finding their way into your life. This is often how grace works. Sometimes it arrives softly, and sometimes it moves through like a change in weather that clears the air and improves visibility. You do not need to rush the rebuilding process, but you do need to allow yourself to release what no longer belongs. If fear shows up, that's okay. Courage is not the absence of uncertainty, it is the willingness to move forward with clarity anyway. Some of the most meaningful acts of faith happen when you loosen your grip on what is familiar so that something more aligned can finally enter. As you move through this energy, remember that what is leaving was never meant to stay forever. What is coming into view carries purpose. And what waits on the other side of greater clarity may be far more supportive than anything you could have discovered while still navigating in the dark. Keep your heart open, Libra. Stay grounded in what you know to be true, and trust that the adjustments happening now are creating room for what genuinely belongs in your life. What is unfolding is not about creating drama. It is about bringing precision and understanding to areas that have remained uncertain. Situations that challenge trust rarely come from obvious sources. More often, they emerge through familiarity, through relationships and dynamics that have become comfortable enough to avoid deeper questioning. That is why this moment can feel so surprising. You were not expecting conflict. You were simply offering trust. And that contrast is exactly why this realization matters so much, Libra. Pay attention to the way your body has been responding lately. Not the explanations you've been creating to maintain peace, but the quiet signals underneath them. Notice the self-doubt that seems to appear around one specific person, or the strange feeling that their compliments never quite land the way genuine support should. You may have also noticed a subtle tension whenever conversations drift toward your progress, your finances, or the future you're trying to build. These experiences are not random. They are feedback, and they have been trying to guide your attention long before the full picture began coming into view. Balance has always been important to you. You have a natural ability to see multiple perspectives, smooth over disagreements, and create comfort for the people around you. Those qualities are gifts, and they have helped you navigate many chapters of life with grace. Yet June 25 and 26 invite you to look at something honestly. Any form of harmony that requires you to silence your own intuition is no longer true harmony. What appears peaceful on the surface can sometimes come at the expense of your own inner trust, and that cost is often greater than it first appears. Situations that undermine you rarely announce themselves directly. More often, they appear through small patterns that are easy to dismiss. It may be someone who introduces doubt when you're feeling confident, someone who becomes unavailable when support is needed, or someone whose encouragement quietly steers you back toward comfort instead of growth. Over time, experiences like these affect more than your trust in another person. They can weaken trust in yourself. That is why the clarity arriving now is important, not because it is meant to make you guarded, but because it helps you reconnect with your own inner knowing. This is not about assigning blame, it is about alignment. As your life expands and your priorities evolve, not everyone who felt comfortable with an older version of you will naturally move in the same direction. Some people may have preferred when you were more accommodating, more predictable, or less willing to pursue financial growth and personal change. Expansion alters relationships. Prosperity has a way of revealing where values truly match and where they no longer do. What is being asked of you now is a quiet kind of strength. Not conflict for the sake of proving a point, but honesty that creates freedom. You do not need to argue with anyone, convince anyone, or defend what you feel deep down to be true. Your responsibility is both simple and powerful. Trust your inner awareness. Stop excusing patterns that consistently leave you feeling unsettled, and choose clarity even when it challenges what has become familiar. Many people wonder why truth sometimes arrives alongside discomfort. Yet there are moments when revelation becomes one of life's greatest forms of protection. When something hidden becomes visible, confusion begins to dissolve. The exhausting cycle of questioning yourself starts to lose its grip. You regain access to your own authority, and from that place, abundance becomes easier to receive because it is no longer being quietly traded away in situations that drain your energy. This is why a personal declaration can be so meaningful right now. Not as a performance for others, but as a way of realigning with yourself. Speaking or writing words that affirm your boundaries helps your mind and body reconnect with self-respect and inner stability. Choosing truth, clarity, and courage is not about pushing people away. It is about returning to yourself. It is about remembering that your needs, instincts, and values deserve a place at the table too. When that inner shift happens, your outer reality often begins to respond. Opportunities become easier to recognize, financial choices feel clearer, and your energy naturally stops flowing toward situations that were never designed to support your growth. What is coming into view now is not here to punish you. It is helping protect the future you are building. The calmer and clearer your response becomes, the more personal power you reclaim along the way. You are not losing something valuable by releasing what has already been working against your well-being. What you gain is space. And within that space, something stronger, healthier, and more sustainable finally has room to grow. Sometimes the most important breakthrough arrives quietly. It appears in the moment you recognize that something you've been holding on to no longer reflects the direction your future is asking you to move toward. Financial opportunities do not always arrive looking like obvious breakthroughs, Libra. Sometimes they appear through a change of direction, the closing of one path, or a situation that forces you to reconsider what you truly want. A contract may come to an end. An old idea may reappear in an unexpected form, or an offer may surface that looks promising while still leaving you with a feeling you cannot ignore. When moments like these appear, they are often bringing clarity rather than coincidence. And clarity, even when it feels inconvenient, asks a deeper question: does this genuinely belong on your path? June 25 and 26 carry the energy of a mid-year checkpoint, inviting you to reflect on what still aligns with your values and what no longer fits the person you are becoming. Financial growth is about far more than opportunity alone. It is also about integrity, balance, and the foundations beneath what you are building. If a relationship, partnership, or business situation is rooted in imbalance, hidden agendas, or dynamics that no longer feel healthy, life has a way of redirecting your attention towards something more authentic. That redirection is not punishment, it is guidance. The purpose is to move you closer to opportunities that reflect who you are today, rather than patterns you once accepted, simply because they felt familiar. The financial energy surrounding this period is arriving with purpose. What feels like tension may actually be recalibration. That discomfort can be your inner system recognizing that it no longer wants to remain loyal to habits, beliefs, or situations that have quietly limited your growth. Before agreeing to something new, before revisiting an old idea, or before making an important commitment, give yourself permission to pause. Take a breath and ask whether the opportunity is arriving with transparency and genuine alignment, or whether it is distracting you from the progress and healing you have already worked so hard to create. This is where discernment becomes more valuable than speed. Not everything that shines deserves your immediate attention. Some opportunities are meant for you later, and some are not meant for you at all, if accepting them requires sacrificing your peace. There are moments when delaying a decision becomes an act of courage rather than hesitation. Choosing not to rush is sometimes the clearest expression of self-respect. It allows you to honor your own timing instead of reacting to pressure from outside influences. A simple but meaningful exercise may help during this period. Take time to write down the financial fears, beliefs, and emotional burdens you have been carrying, especially the ones that may have originated from other people's experiences rather than your own. Perhaps you learned that money is unstable. Perhaps you absorbed the idea that success inevitably creates conflict, or that abundance must come with sacrifice. Maybe receiving more has sometimes brought feelings of guilt instead of gratitude. Whatever surfaces, allow yourself to put it into words honestly. When you feel ready, safely release that paper with intention. Let the act symbolize your willingness to stop carrying beliefs that no longer belong in the future you are creating. On an energetic level, this kind of release creates space. It signals that you are no longer interested in half-truths disguised as progress. It reflects a commitment to building slowly, intentionally, and in a way that remains aligned with your values. You are not meant to pursue abundance through constant worry. You are meant to attract it by becoming more aligned with truth. And truth asks something from you in return. It asks for patience, courage, and the willingness to walk away from opportunities that almost fit, so that the right ones can fully arrive. For the next 3 days, treat your choices with extra care. Step back from commitments that feel rushed. Avoid conversations that leave you disconnected from your inner voice, and focus on rebuilding your relationship with wealth through clarity rather than pressure. Because when the opportunity that truly belongs to you arrives, and it will, the experience feels different. Instead of confusion, there is steadiness. Instead of doubt, there is a quiet certainty that settles into your body and reminds you that this path feels right. The most reliable guidance does not always come from logic alone. Sometimes it arrives through physical signals that speak before words can explain them. A racing heartbeat, an unexpected chill, or a tightening in your chest when something seems too good to be true may be carrying information worth listening to. These responses are not signs that you are overreacting. They are messages from a deeper level of awareness, the part of you that recognizes energy, intention, and alignment long before the mind has gathered enough evidence to explain why. And during a period like the one you're moving through now, Libra, those inner signals deserve your attention. They are not meant to be brushed aside or explained away. The energy surrounding June 25 and 26 encourages you to slow down and listen more carefully, not only with your mind, but with your entire being. You may not have every answer in front of you yet. You may struggle to explain exactly why something feels unsettled or incomplete. Even so, your body often recognizes what your words cannot fully describe, and your spirit frequently senses a shift before the facts arrive. When that deeper awareness begins rising to the surface, it is not appearing to create fear. It is helping you avoid paths, situations, or connections that no longer align with your truth. What feels like caution is often protection, gently guiding you toward a clearer understanding of what belongs in your future. In energy work and personal growth practices, intuition is often compared to a muscle. The more consistently you honor it, the stronger and more reliable it becomes. Each time you ignore those signals, however, you teach yourself to question information that may have been trying to help you all along. Right now, Libra, your intuition seems especially active for a reason. What is coming into focus may not arrive through a direct confession or an obvious explanation. Instead, the message may appear through your physical reactions, your emotions, your breathing patterns, or the quiet awareness that continues returning, no matter how often you try to dismiss it. Over the years, I have seen many people overlook those early signs. One experience that has always stayed with me involved a woman named Elle, who reached out after having an unusually vivid dream. In that dream, golden rain was falling into her hands, yet each drop disappeared the moment it touched her skin, taken away by a shadow standing just behind her. She woke up unsettled and unsure of what the image meant. A couple of days later, she discovered that a trusted friend and business partner had quietly transferred shared assets into a separate account without her knowledge. Looking back, the dream was not random at all. It served as an early warning that her conscious mind had not yet recognized. Sometimes guidance arrives through symbols, feelings, dreams, or impressions that move past logic and speak directly to the deeper self. Not everything meaningful arrives through obvious evidence. There is real strength in learning to trust what your instincts continue bringing to your attention. It is also important to remember that familiarity does not automatically equal safety. Some people learn exactly how to speak your language, earn your trust, and move comfortably within your boundaries. That is why discernment matters so much during periods of growth and change. The encouraging part is that you already possess what you need to navigate this moment wisely. Take a breath and ask yourself something honestly. When was the last time you sensed that something was wrong but chose to stay silent anyway? When was the last time you felt overlooked, emotionally drained, or disconnected from your own needs, yet continued showing up as though nothing had changed? These questions are not meant to create guilt. They are invitations to reconnect with your ability to choose differently moving forward. This is about remembering your power. It is about making decisions from understanding rather than wishful thinking. As awareness grows, your ability to respond with confidence grows alongside it. Even scripture reminds us that what remains hidden cannot stay hidden forever. What lives in the shadows eventually finds its way into the light. And although that process may feel uncomfortable at first, it often marks the beginning of healing rather than the beginning of loss. Once something becomes clear, uncertainty begins to lose its hold over you. You no longer have to spend your energy guessing or questioning what is real. Instead, you can move forward with a fuller understanding of what deserves your trust and attention. So pay attention to the pause. Pay attention to the subtle feeling that asks you to slow down and notice. Sometimes the most meaningful guidance arrives quietly, in moments of stillness rather than moments of noise. Your intuition is not trying to frighten you, Libra. It is helping you break free from patterns and cycles that no longer belong in the life you are creating. There is tremendous value in honoring that inner wisdom and allowing it to guide your next steps. When you act from that deeper place of knowing, you reclaim more than direction. You reconnect with your own authority and strengthen your trust in yourself. And eventually, every awakening reaches a point where understanding must become action. Insight alone is not enough. It must be carried into the physical world through choices, boundaries, and behavior so that your mind, your energy, and your future begin moving in the same direction. That is the invitation standing before you now, because recognizing the truth is one thing, and living as though you trust it is something entirely different. And Libra, you're moving through a period where even the smallest intentional choices can influence the direction of what comes next. June 25 and 26 feel like a midpoint in your journey, a moment when subtle adjustments carry more power than dramatic moves. One meaningful way to begin shifting your energy is through something as simple and familiar as water. In many spiritual and astrological traditions, water is seen as more than a cleansing element. It is often viewed as a vessel for intention, capable of carrying the energy we bring into it. When you wake tomorrow, try starting your day with a simple practice that invites clarity and focus into the space you're creating for yourself. Fill a glass with fresh water and hold it gently in your hands. Close your eyes for a moment and speak with sincerity. Libra, infuse this water with truth, peace, and the power of my divine abundance. As you drink, allow each sip to symbolize your willingness to welcome greater clarity and release what no longer aligns with your path. As the day unfolds, treat your peace as something valuable. You may feel tempted to explain yourself, defend your decisions, or engage with unnecessary noise, yet some of the strongest energy comes not from reacting immediately, but from observing carefully and allowing truth to reveal itself naturally. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes it is wisdom in action. When you choose observation over reaction, you create space for clearer understanding and avoid becoming entangled in distractions that pull you away from yourself. Give yourself permission to step back from conversations or interactions that leave you feeling depleted. Your energy deserves protection, and not every disagreement requires your participation. Some situations resolve more clearly when you stop feeding them your attention. Later, set aside a little time to write for yourself. Ask honestly which relationships consistently leave you feeling uncertain, diminished, or disconnected from your own value. Consider who remains close in your life, even though a deeper part of you already senses that the connection has changed. This reflection is not about blame. It is about freedom. Sometimes people hold on to relationships because they fear what life might feel like without them. Yet chosen solitude often creates the space needed for realignment and deeper self-understanding. Another powerful form of release involves your physical environment. Start with something small and practical. Open your wallet and remove old receipts, expired cards, or papers that represent confusion, stagnation, or an identity you have already outgrown. This is about more than organization. It is a symbolic act that reflects your willingness to create room for greater financial clarity and healthier opportunities. By clearing physical clutter, you reinforce the message that you are ready to welcome abundance, built on honesty and alignment. It is also worth looking at the energy you allow into your digital space. If certain accounts, posts, or people consistently trigger comparison, insecurity, or self-criticism, give yourself permission to create distance. You are not required to absorb influences that weaken your confidence or diminish your sense of worth. The more you surround yourself with voices, ideas, and images that support your growth, the easier it becomes to reconnect with your own direction. Your environment, both physical and digital, plays a larger role in your energy than you may realize. The water, the silence, the writing, the cleaning, and the boundaries may seem like small actions, yet when they are practiced with intention, they create movement. And in personal growth work, meaningful change often begins with the smallest ripple. You do not need to transform your entire life in a single day. You only need to start treating yourself as someone worthy of the future you desire. That worth has always existed within you, and now you are creating conditions that allow it to be reflected more clearly in your life. Libra, as this part of the message unfolds, take a moment to notice what has shifted inside you. Pay attention not only to the words you've heard, but also to the feelings they have awakened. The purpose of this message was never to create fear or overwhelm. Its purpose was to remind you of something essential. You are not here to carry imbalances in silence, to keep everyone comfortable, or to sacrifice your own truth in exchange for temporary peace. You are here to restore balance, and sometimes balance begins with a choice that feels uncomfortable before it finally feels freeing. If June 25 or 26 brings a realization that catches you off guard, Libra, I want you to see it clearly for what it is. This is not chaos entering your life. It is clarity finding its way into places where uncertainty has lingered for too long. Life is not removing something to punish you. It is helping you release what no longer belongs so you can move forward with greater confidence and self-trust. You have always carried a natural ability to weigh different perspectives, to consider both truth and illusion, comfort and growth, habit and choice. But this moment asks for more than observation. It asks for participation. The scales are no longer simply measuring what is happening around you. They are inviting you to decide what deserves a place in your future. Ask yourself honestly what might change if you stop making yourself smaller to protect other people's comfort. What doors could open if you trusted yourself enough to walk away from situations that quietly drain your energy? What kind of abundance might become available if you stop negotiating with circumstances that constantly make you question your value? These questions are not meant to remain ideas. They are invitations to action. The way you respond, not only through thought, but through the choices you make, will influence the direction of the path unfolding ahead. Everything explored throughout this video is meant to be practical and applicable to real life. Awareness creates choice, creates movement, and movement has the power to reshape your reality in ways that once seemed impossible. You do not need to force outcomes, prove yourself, or fight every battle that appears in front of you. You only need to remain honest with yourself, grounded in your values, and fully present with what is being revealed. When you do, life often begins reorganizing itself in ways that feel surprisingly natural. Opportunities become easier to recognize. Relationships reveal their true nature without requiring constant analysis. Situations that once felt confusing begin making sense because you are no longer viewing them through the lens of doubt. I want to encourage you to anchor this energy now rather than waiting for a better moment. If something in this message resonated with you, if a part of you felt awakened, emotional, or quietly certain, allow yourself to acknowledge it. Write it into existence. Leave a comment below and say, in your own words or simply, I choose truth. I open the door to abundance. I release what makes me smaller. Speaking your intention aloud transforms awareness into alignment and helps you commit to the future you are actively creating. And before you leave, I want to thank you sincerely for spending this time here. Thank you for your openness, your presence, and your willingness to reflect honestly on your life. Every like, comment, and subscription is more than support. It is a sign that you are choosing growth, awareness, and a more conscious path forward. If this message spoke to you, please like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need to hear it as well. Stay connected, because what unfolds next is not random. It responds to the choices you make, the clarity you embrace, and the direction you choose to follow. And above all else, Libra, remember this. Destiny is not something you sit back and wait for. It is something you participate in creating. You are the observer, the decision maker, and the one responsible for the path ahead. And true balance begins the moment you choose yourself.